6th or 7th Poetry Message Project. And the original conception of it was by Richard Burdesky, who was a pottery student originally, and it was based on, anyway, the first year we had the project, Richard wrote this, and I thought what I would do is, because it really kind of explains why we do the project every year. So I thought I would start reading it, and then maybe each of us could take a paragraph. So it's called the Poetry Message Bowl Project at the Tucson Clay Co-op. The Poetry Message Bowl Project is a synthesis of text and ceramics, drawing its inspiration from ancient Iranian message bowls, a liturgical source and a new way of viewing text. Ancient Iranians inscribed words on pottery bowls, which they buried with their dead. Archaeologists tell us that the bowls carried prayers, good wishes for the deceased, as well as poems and even memories. And the first year that we had this project, Richard had a woman come with an authentic Persian poetry bowl, so that was very exciting. Who you want to take the reading over? Oh, that's fine. Okay.
Many years of my life, the high point of the calendar was a ceremony called Flower Communion, which took place on Easter Sunday. This ceremony was devised by a minister in Czechoslovakia after World War II. It was the result of his quest to find a ritual that would build community after devastation, when neighbors had seen the worst and the best of human behavior. I'll read this one then, because, no, I guess, yeah. The ceremony begins as one enters the church and places a flower in a vase on the communion table. An offering might be anything from a wildflower to a beautiful garden specimen, to an arrangement or even a vase full of flowers purchased at a florist. Together, the blooms appear absolutely beautiful. Then, as the entire congregation would sing Samuel Longfellow's 19th century hymn, "The Life That Makest All Things New," each worshiper would return to the communion table, taking one of the flowers. Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. Each flower, like each person, was beautiful, but even more beautiful was the ensemble representing the congregation, the community, the human family. Taken another flowers entail contemplation on our mysterious and unseen connections with everyone else.
The Poetry Message Bowls represent our fullness as individuals, our aspirations, our hearts, ears, eyes, minds, sense of humor, and who knows what else. They will join together with others into a beautiful and diverse offering. And finally, each participant will take another poem-filled bowl, ratifying the connections between the individual and the larger whole.
Julie? You know that. In regard to text.
In regard to text,
Go ahead, I'll go after you.
in regard to text, we will relate to poetry the way we listen to music in the post-Beatles age. Instead of saying we only listen to classical music, or rock, or country, or jazz, we now move from genre to genre without any hesitation. Likewise, we will move from text to text, sensibility to sensibility, offering to offering, without judgments or boundaries. And in the largest sense, we will be exploring and renewing the consciousness that lies within and between all people.
Welcome to the age of Aquarius. It might be helpful to contemplate the bowl. As potters, we understand that the bowl both receives and offers. As such, it combines feminine and masculine. We often make the distinction between a winter bowl, which is closed and inward in order to retain heat, and the summer bowl, which is open and more generous. Similarly, the bowl combines the feminine and masculine in its fabrication. The clay becomes centered, as does the potter, and then receives the action of the fingers and the hands. The eternal spiral path becomes a plane, which is open to depth and space. Then the potter and the clay build a cylinder, which becomes a flower pot shape, and then a bowl. We use the four elements, earth, water, air, and fire, to bring the bowl to life. So in a very real sense, the bowl is like the mystic. It is the edge between the outer and the inner infinities.
To execute the tasks on the potter's wheel, an artist becomes centered like the clay. The artist also knows that the clay has and responds to consciousness itself, and that the art comes from an energy moving through the joined potter and clay. In making vessels, we stress our well-being and the health of our thoughts. After all, only the highest and the best should be crystallized into a vessel another human being might use.
I think we could probably stop now unless people want to hear technically how the pots ring.
Our next year, I'm sorry, Maxine, I can't read your